Hi everyone, this week we are going to be starting chapter 3.3, Understanding Linear Equations with Two Variables. I figured the examples that I embedded into the Nearpod I could do step by step for you in hopes that could be a little bit more helpful this time around. So what we are doing is substituting numbers in for either x or y. For example A, it says find the value of y when x equals 7. So wherever we see an x, we're going to replace it with 7 and then solve for y. So you can rewrite it as y equals 7 minus 5 over 2. We have y equals 7 minus 5 is 2, divided by 2, which y equals 1. For the first example. In example B, x is still going to equal 7. We're just going to replace the x with 7 and solve for y again. So we have 3y plus 4 equals 2 times 7. 3y plus 4 equals 2 times 7 is 14. Now you have a two-step equation. You can split this equation through the equal sign, and now we can begin to solve for y. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of this plus 4 by doing the inverse or the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. The 4's will cancel on the left. I'm left with 3y on the left equals 14 minus 4 equals 10. Since y still is not by itself, we need to divide by 3 on both sides because 3 is being multiplied by y here, and we want to make sure we do the opposite. So I'm going to divide by 3, my 3's cancel. Y is going to equal 10 thirds, or 3 and 1/3, or you might have 3.3 repeating. Okay? Example C, y is still going to equal, x is still going to equal 7. So again, I'm going to replace x with 7. If 7 equals 9 halves y minus 15.5. I still want to get this y by itself. So I'm going to split my equation through the equal sign, and I want to try to get rid of this 15.5 first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 15.5 on both sides. 15.5 cancels. I'm left with 22.5 equals 9 halves times y. Now remember, this is 9 halves times y, so I want to do the inverse and divide by 9 halves on both sides. So as soon as I divide by 9 halves, they cancel. I'm left with y equals 5. Okay, also do it in reverse. Here I have an example. It says find the value of x when y equals 7, or a negative 7. So let's say I have the example 2 times 3x minus 7 equals 9 times y. So instead of replacing a number for x, I'm going to now replace y with a negative 7 because y equals a negative 7. So I'm going to go ahead and just split this down. I'm going to just write this on my left side. I'm not going to do anything yet. And I'm just going to simply replace y with a negative 7. Okay? I'm going to rewrite this one more time. 9 times a negative 7 we know is a negative 63. Okay, so remember when we started this chapter 3.1, we talked about making sure you simplify anything on the left side of the equation and anything on the right side of the equation before moving numbers back and forth on either side of the line. So we have to simplify this by using distributive property. So remember, we would simply do 2 times 3x and then 2 times a negative 7 or minus 7. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times a negative 7 is a minus 14 or a negative 14 equals a negative 63. Okay, again, we have a two-step equation. I want to solve for x. So I need to add 14 on both sides. The 14s will cancel. I'm left with 6x equals a negative 49. Okay, my last step is to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides. The 6's will cancel, and I'm left with x equals a negative 8 1/6, or 8.16 negative. I hope that was helpful. This is all we're going to really work on this week, is substituting for x and y. Remember to email me if you have any questions. I hope you guys all have a great week.